Are you ready to journey into the fascinating and peculiar world of dinosaurs? Join me as I hunt for the most outrageous and bizarre species that once ruled the Earth. Join me as I dive into the wild world of weird dinosaurs that actually existed, and see if I can find the most bizarre one. When we think of dinosaurs, we often imagine giant, ferocious beasts that ruled the ancient Earth. But what if I told you that not all dinosaurs fit this stereotype? In fact, many of them were quite unusual, with features that would make them stand out in a modern-day zoo. The misconception that all dinosaurs were large and terrifying is just that, a misconception. The truth is, many of them were relatively small, and some were downright weird. But because they're not as flashy as the Tyrannosaurus rex or Velociraptor, they don't get as much attention. And that's exactly what makes them so fascinating. It's a challenge to discover these lesser-known, strange species. Fossil records can be incomplete, and sometimes it takes a combination of scientific detective work and artistic interpretation to bring them to life. But trust me, it's worth the effort, because these weird dinosaurs are a window into a world that's both familiar and alien at the same time. The more we learn about these unusual creatures, the more we realize how diverse and interesting the dinosaur kingdom really was. So, let's explore some of the weirdest dinosaurs that actually existed. The first one that comes to mind is the Quetzalcoatlus. This flying reptile had a wingspan of up to 15 meters, that's as wide as a small plane. Can you imagine seeing something like that soaring through the skies? And yet, despite its massive size, it was a fish eater, using its long beak to catch fish in the coastal waters. Another weird dinosaur is the Therizinosaurus. This one had the longest claws of any dinosaur, with some specimens reaching up to a meter long. It's hard to imagine what kind of threat would require such massive claws, but it's clear that this dinosaur was built for combat. And yet, it was a herbivore, using those claws to defend itself against predators. The Amargasaurus was a plant eater with a pair of spiky neck vertebrae that made it look like it was wearing a pair of devil horns. And then there's the Olorotitan, a duck-billed dinosaur with a crest on its head that looked like a giant helmet. These are just a few examples of the many weird and wonderful dinosaurs that existed during the Mesozoic era. But of all the weird dinosaurs I've come across, there's one that really takes the cake. It's called the Spinosaurus, and it's been called the sail-backed carnivore because of its massive spiny sail that ran along its back. But what's really astonishing about this dinosaur is that it was a fish eater, and its jaws were specifically adapted to catch fish. In fact, its teeth were so specialized that it could only eat fish. It was a dinosaur that lived on a diet of fish and nothing else. So, you have it, a tour of the weird and wonderful world of dinosaurs. From the Quetzalcoatlus to the Spinosaurus, these creatures were more diverse and interesting than we often give them credit for. Thanks for joining me on this journey into the wild world of weird dinosaurs. If you've got a favorite weird dinosaur, let me know in the comments below. And if you haven't already, be sure to check out another video on dinosaurs or paleontology. There's always more to discover in this fascinating field.